White peanut stream. Here we are. Oh. You've got like a bit of a Dutch angle at the moment, haven't we? It's like making me look like I'm like insane. People are like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So Dutch angle is a framing device. No, it's not a framing device, sorry. It's just like, it's a camera angle where like if you want to like sort of portray your characters like losing the plot in a movie or like a video, you just sort of like you put the camera at like a sort of degree, sort of like a 45-degree angle, so it's like bent, it's like slightly not even. It just gives this impression that like you're not like quite there. But anyway, I hope everyone's having a quite quaint Tuesday. Wait, what day is it today? Yeah, it is Wednesday. Shoot. I love. Right, it's time. Hi, wah, yeah. That's what I mean. Gotta get ready for any situation, dude. Oops. Yeah, I washed these sheets, so everything here is like spanking clean. Spanking clean, dude. It smells lovely. Kiss my butt. Boos. Yeah, so that guy didn't come back to me. I think he blocked me. Did he block me? He didn't block me. But he hasn't said anything. Oh. Okay, it's too far. Who's Hank Green?
Glitching out.
I don't know this guy. This oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys.
Georgia plans weddings with the precision of a watchmaker. Every detail.
So Hank Green made a video a couple weeks ago, and the first like 10 seconds already has me hooked because I totally agree. One of my more depressing takes, maybe you won't sound depressing, it goes something like this. In our current era, anything that will get watched will get made. And that might just... Why is that? Why will anything that will get watched get made? Supply and demand, baby. Everything is capitalism. Financial and attention.
Oh, God.
Engaging content that people want to watch almost always outweigh the creative fulfillment that you get from making content that you really like, that like 10 people are watching. And like obviously on one hand it's the idea that like, oh my god, like people actually care about what I have to say. It's the things I say matter to people. But like also something that you cannot like ever ignore is like the incredible financial reward that exists on YouTube and other social media platforms, attracting eyeballs. These dashes on the right side of my screen here, they're so fun to show. You can quickly count them. 201 videos on this time in the last 100 days on the Katyklism channel. And this is exactly what we're talking about. This is what you can get.
Yeah, but he's Indian, dude. Who cares? He probably like jerks off like SpongeBob hentai.
Obviously, I'm trying to reach a market. I'm trying to supply and demand here, but at the
Oh my god, think about it, dude. Think
creating
about
their
it.
brain and not just
Please
like
think about it. What is the market? It's Indians. It's fucking Indians, mate. Wake up. This is what I mean. These people, you can't be hot. You can't be halfway crooks with this. This is what I mean. Like that's the point of like that, like 8 miles or with 3 miles, 8 miles. There's no such thing as halfway crooks. It's true with like this. You can't just be like you got some kind of like prejudice to race, but you're not like thinking about like other like things it could be. So it's like the thing about like online culture is it's being governed by like because people keep talking about it and they keep dancing around it. Asmund Gold even said something about it. He got loads of trouble about it because it's like the mega taboo. And it's like if I bring it up, it's going to be considered like the super taboo as well. God, this is just an absolute gauntlet. It's just that, for example, you just got like 2 huge voting blocks, which are going to be Indians and black people. And before you say anything, the reason why it's a problem is just because like we've decided one day someone signed a piece of paper and then all these people's opinions were exactly the same as mine. So like my opinion in the law, my opinion is exactly the same as like some African person. And as a result of that, it just creates all kinds of massive issues because people can't like can't be given that same level of respect. Because we've been taught that like, every single person's life is exactly the same, and it's many things like subhuman people, and like everyone like just thinks and operates the same. Everyone like they just like people, our enemies deliberately like just giving retards like the best treatment to like humiliate us. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. Like I'm not like afraid to admit that, but I think it's bullshit. I'm an absolute red. I don't feel podcast. Like Nicholas Dior. Like, look at this bull.
like my algorithm is that they're not performing as well as if I had probably made like some anti-Hassan content. I feel like I could.
Yeah, because why is that? Think. Hassan is like a Muslim. All his like fans pretend he's not. He's obviously Muslim. So Indians are like really super pro-Israel, so they'll love Ethan Klein because he's Jewish. I bet black people like this guy. Look at this. This is what the glorification. This is when they're trying to like get our kids like, hey, you wanna love black people? Look. Say like black people. Yeah, this is just literally like black people. Yeah, can you imagine like the Jews making this game? Because remember, if you're like Jews and you're like, trying to subvert like white culture, what are you gonna do? Yeah, you're gonna like get these couple of like anthropomorphic like aliens who is like ambiguous to like who they are, and then you're just gonna give them like the traits of black people, and then you're gonna like try and make them like the fun, cool characters, aren't you? So this is the whole point. So me as a kid, but it just didn't work because like people like me, I'm not even kidding. I had Toe Jam too. But I just never thought like these characters were cool in any sense. They're like black people would. Black people will play this and they'll immediately think it's like them and their like black friend. Like, look doing this. They'd be like, whoa man, imagine me and you like in the spaceship, let's be us, dude. And this is like an allegory to like giving black people like cars and stuff. Like they didn't like actually like deserve to have cars. It was Africa. Oh. Look at this. I don't want to play that fat shit. So can you see? This is like, because like I'm not gonna play the second game because me and my brother are playing it. Or I'll play it like when we can play it. That's why I'm deliberately not gonna play the second one because I didn't ever have the first game. I didn't even know the first game existed. And I'll tell you why. It's because like the second game is very, very cleverly just called like Toe Jam and Funkington Town or something. So again, this is pre-internet, pre-magazines really. Like I didn't really start getting game magazines until I had a friend who got like N64 magazines. I didn't start buying magazines until GameCube, I'm pretty sure. But I did have a friend who had a couple of like official Nintendo NGC, yeah, official Nintendo GameCube. But I remember like I used to always get like a different brand because it was like a bit cheaper. My dad was just like a super like scrimper. So I had a friend who always got NGC, like the official, and then they used to come with like I think they used to come with no. I remember I was always annoyed because they never came with demo discs. GameCube never did demo discs. Some of the best memories I had with gaming were spent on demo discs, and I'll tell you why. Because a demo disc effectively gave you a... Well, you won't... People these days won't know what it is. I barely do, to be fair, because I didn't really even get it. But there used to be a thing called a medley. And basically what a medley was like when you went and saw like an artist to save on time, instead of like just singing like the whole of like their album, they would just like combine like about 5 songs together in like a 5-minute piece. And that was just what was called a medley, and they were just smart enough to just be able to like make it blend into each other so they could just organically do it live. That's effectively what a demo disc was. It just allowed you to have like play like about a dozen games, or sorry, you got to probably play like about 8 games, 7, 8 games, and then there was probably like about 6 like just trailers you could watch for like games that were like even further along. So the demos would be like the playable demos would be games that were probably coming out within like, the next couple of months, and then like, and that was just really cool. It was just really cool just to get a demo disc and then just play a game, and then just actually know you had the ability to like, just test it out. And you really did get like a chance because basically what that meant was it prevented you from just like having to go to like blockbusters, because then that was the next transition would be you would play the demo disc, then you'd like test out which game you knew you had feelers for was a good game. And if you went to Blockbusters, it just helped you again, because again, this is pre-internet, so you just would be like, oh, sick, okay. I remember playing the demo disc for like, I don't know, Biofreaks or something like that. I think that was a game. And that was a pretty fun game. Because I just remember, like, back then, you go into Blockbusters, you bet, like, I remember, like, how it worked. You went into the shop, um, and there was, like, rows, and all the rows would have, like, the original case of the game. And then, like, you could see how many copies it had by, like, the yellow version of it behind it. So, for example, if you went in, you might, like, see, for example, this is like, I don't know, a new game that's come out, it's like Silken Filter, is it Silken Hunter or Silken Filter or something like that? You'd go in there and you'd see, like, all of them have been taken, so you'd just see, like, the original case. So if you took that to the counter, the man would be like, I'm lost, I'm afraid that's all gone. And then sometimes it was like desperate because you go there and it'd only be like a couple games. It was like when you're a kid, it felt like when you're an adult when you go to the bar, and sometimes it's like, you know, I found a hot girl, so you go like just kind of like play your hedge your bets. It's like, do you just go home and just call it quits, or are you gonna just keep rolling the dice and just see what happens when they turn on the lights? And it's like, you guys gotta go home, and there's gonna be like some like 44-year-old like woman, maybe there's like some like someone that just fuck. Um, but anyway. Yeah, you just sometimes go there. You just like you find a game and you would just rent it. It was just sometimes it would be pretty cool. There was a couple games I remember renting. Oh shit! I think there were like a couple ones I remember being shit. Like Echo the Dolphin. That game's like absolute shit. And then Rayman 1, for some reason we rented it and we couldn't get past the first level. But don't blame me, I saw you, I was only like 5, so it's not that happened. So don't look at me. I wouldn't expect like my kids to like 5 or 6. You're barely just like getting into like consciousness, like proper, no, I don't want to say it like that. But anyway, yeah, it's just funny because there's this guy Cheap, and it's like he's like a maverick. Yeah, because he like he's mixed race, but I don't know what of. However, he still does have like pretty good like views in the sense that he disparages like more Pegasus and Asmongold, as do I. So this is like the interesting sort of like dichotomy of my like my kind of affiliation. That's why I'm like I told you I'm like Blackbeard. You know, like in One Piece, like Blackbeard, for example, his crew are like a bit sort of weird. So like, if you actually kind of look at his crew, none of them actually like each other because that's not the point. They just kind of have like a single purpose or goal, which is just kind of like I don't know, just they just got like some kind of like dogma that they just want to kind of enact. But you see what I mean? Look at this. And Cheaply's kind of like he's obviously like very anti-Israel or Jew. So my affiliation makes me think that he is a Muslim, or he's got some kind of like Islamic kind of or Muslim kind of heritage. He hasn't completely made that clear. I haven't heard that from a natural or declarative statement he's ever said. However, he's made it clear he's mixed race, and I also did think he was. But he does seem to have a kind of predilection towards Hassan, which isn't necessarily like I'm not trying to like say necessarily like he is, but I have noticed he does seem to be supporting him, but he's doing it in a fair enough way. Like and that's why like I keep watching him. Because when he does actually like bring Hassan up, he's not being like unfair to his defense to him, and I think like that's quite important when you're trying to judge people. Is like we can't be blinded by biases. So I do listen to Cheaply, and I just think like actually he does seem to like have a kind of moral compass, which I'll listen to. Um, So he's called out more Pegasus because he like obviously dick rides Ethan Klein. But you've got to remember that one of the sort of biggest things that one of the biggest things that the Indians are doing are migrating, and then what they do is they anchor themselves into different countries to try and like blur like their like heritage. So a lot of people, if you sort of call out more Pegasus for being Indian, people will quickly kick back as your first offense. They'll say like he's not, he's in Indonesia. And then it's just like, okay, well, is he actually Indonesian, or was it like his parents migrated there and he's just like actually Indian, and both his parents are both Indian, and they both had him, and he's like an Indian kid, but they just so happen to live in Indonesia, and it's like, I'm sorry, dude, it's just like you can't control your heritage. You can try your hardest, and you can try to like convince people that because you live in a country that for X amount of time that you're now a British person. But I'm sorry, that game is not working now. It's not working. People don't care. They're just not convinced. I'm afraid. There's a reason we got skin color. If we didn't have a skin color, sorry, if we didn't need to have skin color, we wouldn't have it. I'm sorry to tell you that. Do you see what I mean? It's the same with like arguing like what's the point of having like wasps and bees and hornets and like anything else like that, anything in that kind of like or like what they call like yellow jackets, anything in that sort of bracket of like sort of like flying but insect with a stinger. Like what's the point? Why not just make them all like bees? And the answer's there. It's because we're not the same. And once you've like unraveled that, that's like the theory of everything, isn't it? Like once you've basically like understood that's why. Because you can't say a bee is the same to a wasp, because it's not. You'd say there's really similar qualities, though. You'd say there's like really similar traits. You'd say that they both got 6 legs, both can fly, both have stingers. Yeah, okay. However, their like behaviors are like, completely different, aren't they? Like wasps, I think wasps like what do they do? They chew like pulp and tree, but like, and they make pulp and they make their like nests from like pulp and like paper because it's what they're doing. Is they're chewing like the sort of the sap off the trees and stuff. And then I think they make their like nests, and then like bees are like doing it in a more. I just make. I mean, but they make honey, though, don't they? From like nectar. I was not quite sure what they feed wasps. They don't make honey, do they? I'm sure they give them something else. But yes, what I'm saying, these are like the small idiosyncrasies that are like in very important. And what's the point of having a pedigree chart or like any kind of differentiation of any kind of race, where when we go into the minutiae of tiny, tiny little like ants and fucking spiders and tarantulas and scorpions and God knows what algae and stuff. But then when it comes to some of the most sophisticated um, organisms on the planet, like humans, but like basically just saying like, oh yeah, well, humans. It's bullshit. It's actual bullshit. Alright, it's just like. I love. Watch out for my dead dick.
Well as if I had probably made like some anti-Hassan content. I feel like I could 100% farm anti-Hassan content unbelievably well. Like that would have been the most lucrative financial grift of my lifetime.
It just sounded obvious to you, but it didn't used to be like this. We used to say, oh, like we're making content for kids, let's make sure that this stuff is like super enriching. There were also times when people were like, oh, so there's a market for racist slop? That doesn't matter, we just won't publish those videos. But that's not what happens anymore. Now we have Fruit Love Island and toy unboxings and the various racists that I'm not going to name. But I've been thinking about my take here.
Why is he like retarded? I feel really sick. Oh my god. No. Play with my dick and play with my balls. Fudge cake. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's good. This game's fucking shit. Oh.
Very vital piece of nuance to add to it. And wild thing here, like 1971 was when Herbert Simon basically called this. He was writing about a future where information was about to become abundant. And he put, this is crazy work for 1971. And he pointed out that the thing that would get scarce wasn't information, it was attention. He had his own little phrase that he coined. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's not there yet.
After keeping us waiting for an hour, Mr. Khan emerges from the forest.
I've got other friends that do content creation as well, and
Oh.
something that I repeatedly tell them is like, this is the best time to be a content creator, because it's at this point where these algorithms are sophisticated enough where it is feeding your content to the people that want to see it. But also, we currently live in a generation where there are still, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds that did not grow up with a tablet in their hand. I mean, frankly, I'm naming all these ages. When I was a kid, I didn't have a tablet in my hand. I had like a STR.
I feel sick.
That I play Club Penguin on, or
I feel sick.
Our peak consumers, okay, they're being born today, okay. Like the kids that are like growing up with like an Apple Vision Pro in the household, okay, they're being born today. The ones that are experiencing VR at like 4 years old, they have been born today. And if you ever look at like who watches CNN, who watches Fox News, it's always people over the age of 65. Nobody my age, nobody in their 30s, I mean even in their 40s, like nobody is really paying attention to those channels, because at this point it's hard to trust a conglomerate. It's a lot easier to go, I like this YouTuber, this individual content creator. I'm more willing to bank trust into that single person than this media conglomerate that's funded by XYZ and has these interests. And, you look at, private equity, for example. What are they doing right now? They're trying to acquire the rights to YouTubers' content, either because they want their back catalog to make money off of it, or because they want the content creators, they want to be able to influence what they're saying. And, I'm talking about news, but it's also reflected in media. When it comes to two of the biggest performing movies right now, Obsession and Backrooms.
I watch porn.
These are two films that are made by quote-unquote indie creators, two directors that come from YouTube. And frankly, I don't think it's lost on a lot of the people that are going out to watch them. A lot of people are probably just, interested in the idea of the Backrooms. As for Obsession, I think the large reason why people are going to that movie is because they saw what the budget was, $750,000. They see who the director is, and they go, man, like, I know that guy. Like, I watch that guy's comedy skits. Meanwhile, you've got Star Wars, a very well-known IP. The second weekend, it's completely cratered. And look, I grew up liking the Star Wars movies. This shit's toy slop. You don't want to watch...
I love Goy Lord.
...with Baby Yoda in, like, desert where they're shooting people. Like, these Disney movies that come out, it reeks of consumerism.
I love Goy Lord. I love Goy Lord. I love Goy Lord. Oh, I love Goy Lord. 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 I love.
This is a phenomenon that YouTube has been displaying for a long time, and it's why YouTube is almost seemingly unbeatable. You look at Netflix. Everything on Netflix costs money.
I love Goy Lord. I love Goy Lord. I love Goy Lord.
Hours of content that no one will ever see. Anywho, let's get back to Hank Green here.
A wealth of information creates a of attention. This guy was looking at fax machines and going, yeah, this is going to be a problem. I feel like he would have been turned to dust by a TikTok algorithm. But he was right. There is a very new structure of the world since we have gotten access to much more information than we could possibly consume. I also have to say, like, as a human being that exists, YouTube seems like such an obvious place to try and make money. Like, it seems like such an obvious place. Like, you know that attention is focused in this area. You know that the reward for attention is larger than likely any other reward you can get, even with a college education. I was talking to someone, and if you want to be a journalist in, like, Canada, you're probably gonna eat shit and make 60K at most if you're fucking lucky. That's 60,000 Canadian, by the way. That's probably at the most you're gonna make, like, 3 or 4 years in. And you're probably gonna be locked in, making that much for a while. You're probably gonna be covering stories that you're not particularly passionate about. And then, like, you see Candace Owens, like, raking in, like, $5 million a month type shit. Like,
Candace Owens' husband's rude.
dedicated to making fun of her not being able to read. Which is a relatively new phenomenon, and I'm very in on that phenomenon. I spend all my time in it.
Watch porn.
You cannot compete on obligation. You have to make stuff that people want to watch. But here's my correction. 100%. 100%. Because there are things that people absolutely will watch that are nonetheless not getting made. And there's a very basic and obvious reason why. It's that it isn't cheap. When everybody is creating, there isn't just a system that surfaces the stuff that people will pay attention to. There are systems below the surface that make it so that it's a lot easier to highlight and to have be discovered people who are doing things very cheaply. I've always said this about, like, that's how people say my name, by the way. They always, so many people. That cheaply guy, I really like that shit. But again, he's 100% right. Like, the budget on the videos I'm making, the budget on the video he made, the budget on fucking video Pegasus made, right? $0. Okay, basically. I mean, whatever the, cost is to power my monitors and the camera that I have here. And again, the reward that you get for posting every single day, the attention, the growth, it's so much more valuable than basically, doing a coin flip on a long form video that might be more well researched, with more interesting topics, with, more in-depth, thought out ideas. But, like, again, you're flipping a coin on whether or not that's going to be successful, because you might pour 6 months into a video, and maybe 10K people view it. And 10K is great. 10K is a lot of views. But, like, if you can pull, 3.5K every day, I mean, it takes 3 days to beat that. Video game streamers, it's like the easiest job, but it's, like, hardest to be great at. So on the surface of it, it's just
I love porn.
playing video games and talking, which seems like everyone would be kind of equally good at that, but it turns out that's very much not the case. But because the barrier to entering into that market is very low, lots of people enter into it, and that means that the best people learn from each other and surface each other, and so you have this field of, like, millions of people trying to... By the way, even the best people are not necessarily the best people. They're just the best at serving what the algorithm wants. They're the best at supplying a product that is easy to consume. Do this from which you select. Like, is there any actual tangible value to that product? Who fucking knows? Most of the time, probably not. Ludwig, you like find the guy who's, like, handsome and he's funny and he's great at Smash Brothers, or, like, pretty good enough at Smash Brothers, and he's got good ideas and he'll charm your pants off, and he'll come on my show sometimes. And
I'm ready to come.
how to articulate this, but, like, there's an element where it's like, if it's gonna get watched, it's gonna get made. You definitely see that. But also there's an element of, if the media that is being created is very inexpensive.
I love Chrome. Endball movie. Play my balls. Go in service. Go in service. Go in circus.
Lots of people will do it, and the best ones will get surfaced. And so you end up in a world where a lot of the most talented, most successful people are making stuff that's very inexpensive to make. But very obviously, you might get way more views on a video that cost a lot more to make, but that video will never get made. And the people who are making that video, the people who would be great at making that kind of content, will never find out that they were good at making that kind of content because there is no market for it. And so that's a bit of a problem. But that problem becomes bigger when it comes to educational content. I know for a fact that you might get way more views on a video that helps people understand atomic orbitals or cognitive bias or the French Revolution. But that video, if it's gonna be inside of the market for educational media, it has to be written by informed researchers and professionally fact-checked and standards aligned so that it's easy for teachers to plug it into a lesson plan. And trust me, that costs a lot more, way more than you could ever make from a YouTube channel. In 2013, an Italian programmer named Alberto Brandolini was launching a televised political debate where one guy was just fire-hosing nonsense and the other guy was visibly drowning trying to correct any of it. And Brandolini tweeted what is now called Brandolini's Law, which states the amount of energy needed to produce bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it. Yeah. The other issue is the method, the way in which the content is delivered. A guy like Pegasus can literally spew the same shit repeatedly and then add tiny little parts and post a 38-minute video every fucking day. And if you were to make a video refuting a lot of the things that Pegasus
why it's so much more valuable for these content creators like Pegasus, like Nick DiOrio, like insert, you know what I mean, fucking ass content creator that I think is
You see what I mean?
offering the criticism are people that are going to be held to a higher standard. Because you're out here saying, so-and-so is fucking up. I better not see you fuck up in any way. On the one hand, it's like, it's an idea that I can agree with. On the other hand, it's very hard to compete on volume when you've got somebody that can basically free reign, say whatever the fuck they want, and you've kind of got to like, you've got to make sure that every single detail in your story lines up.
What is now called Brandolini's Law, which states that refuting BS takes orders of magnitude more energy than producing it. So BS isn't just cheap to make, it's cheap to make and expensive to refute. The fact checkers and the explainers and the people whose whole job is to say, like, wait, that's not quite right, they're playing defense in a game where the offense costs like 10 times less. And I'm not just
Ooh.
a team at MIT published a study, Science, where they looked at every verified true and verified false news story that spread on Twitter from 2006 to 2017. 126,000 stories, 3 million people, 4.5 million tweets. They found that the false news reached 1,500 people around 6 times faster than true news. So it's not just cheaper, it's more appealing. Falsehoods were 70%.
I love porn.
More likely to be retweeted than the truth. And of course it is, because if you want something that sounds really good and will hook into your brain and get people to get mad and retweet it, it's a lot easier to come up with that fact if you don't have to care whether it's actually a fact. Wasn't the
100%. It's
I used to literally do one of the Yankees files. I fucking know. What was that, dude? Feels racist, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
There's a music of the Negroes.
The truth, because lies get to be more novel and more surprising than reality, because they are not constrained.
Or maybe even more important than that, I think lies, lies in particular, but narratives that feed into what you already believe, whether true or not, are always going to be easier to share. They're always going to be something that you want to push. And again, there are a lot of people, like I keep using Katyklism as an example because we talk about that type of content a lot on this channel, so we're just going to keep taking it to that example. There are a lot of people, whether because he's a communist or because they're Zionist people or because they think he's a terrorist supporter, that's what people say. Whether you agree with the hate or not, there is a massive audience for hating Hassan Piker. So it doesn't really matter what Pegasus says, as long as it's negative in that direction, it's believable. It's why the brothel story gets recirculated over and over, despite it already being disproven. I mean, separate but notable, you have H3 Productions, Ethan Klein, someone that you would imagine, or at least presents himself as like a left-leaning, liberal-type guy, promoting the New York Post, simply because it's an anti-Hassan Piker. This left-leaning, liberal-type guy, that's how he presents to his wine mom audience, right? It's promoting the New York Post. Like, genuinely, might as well promote Fox News at this point. Do you not like the Fox News articles on Hassan Piker? Is that a little bit too far? That name value's not good enough for you? New York Post, you
Hell
have
yeah.
people that are like, well, New York's, a left-leaning city. Surely this is an article that isn't crazy. Surely this isn't a company that's owned by some freak fucking people.
Strained by reality. So this is the world that educational content on YouTube has to exist in. Crash Course is the best thing that I have ever done. Of course, I did not really do it. I just helped. I helped start it. And a ton of people over the years have made it much better than I ever have. Crash Course works because it is not just one person with a camera and an opinion. It's writers and editors and consultants and fact checkers and producers and animators and hosts and people whose whole job is to say, that's not quite right. A sentence that has prevented more harm than any of us will ever know. I love that. I love that it is made by a bunch of people who are devoted not to being the loudest or the hottest or the most incredibly difficult thing to run. It's a massive production that requires money. How many people can just start up a high quality Crash Course type channel? Very few. And that's assuming that it even takes off, that it even gets any traction, that anybody wants to watch that. For the most algorithmically spicy, but to be useful and accurate and clear and engaging and winning on its own merits. Crash Course is not asking people to watch it. It is making itself watchable. We do not do that. We do not say, oh, you have to watch or you're going to feel bad. I mean, a teacher might make you watch it, but our job is to make people want to watch Crash Course. So absolutely, we will compete for the attention, but there is no way that we compete economically. Crash Course does very well. It gets a lot of views and could never support itself the way that most YouTube videos do. Most internet content works because it's cheap. It arose from a system that rewarded people figuring out how to make good content for not a lot of money, but there was no way to do that with Crash Course. It has to be expensive. We already know what happens when expensive educational media tries to survive in a market that rewards cheap content. Watch this happen in my life. I watched it. When I started watching TLC, it was called The Learning.
It's kind of funny because, one of the criticisms that's recently been thrown my way, the biggest thing that was suggested as a fix for it was throw more hours into research. And I agree. Like, I would love to. Trust me, I would love to research everything in depth. Like, I'd love to spend all day just making videos. I'd love to make 2 videos a day and having read everything that I read all fucking day, put it into both of those videos, and then stream at night and have some content for the second channel ready to go. But like, that's not the financial reality in which I live. Like, I have a job. I hate it. I hate it here. But you gotta work. You gotta make money. You gotta pay the rent. And So again, Crash Course is like your easiest example of like your.
Yeah, that's why I like this dude, because he works. He's like down to earth, you know what I mean? That's why, even though like we have different views, I was like, I was born. I love porn.
Educational content, it costs a lot of money and time to put together and manpower. And I think my process has been good enough to where, you know, for the most part, I get things right. I feel like my research is decent. You know, you read things at night, you have it in your mind ready to go, have some notes ready, and then you make your video in the morning. But ultimately, if your goal is to make a video every single day, which is my goal, you know, you're kind of, you gotta play the cards that you're dealt. But by that same token, you have to take responsibility for the things that you do get wrong if you're gonna be critical of people for getting things wrong.
Learning Champ, TLC, launched in 1980 doing instructional and educational program, and over the course of a couple of decades, it just drifted away. The educational stuff got more expensive to make, the reality stuff got cheaper to make. Math happened, and they changed the name from the Learning Champ
Capitalism.
to TLC. Even worse,
This is why, this is another thing, like, there's this idea that capitalism breeds innovation. No, it doesn't. It breeds what makes the most money.
Yeah,
That's always going to be the case. And anyone who tells you different, like, listen, obviously there's awesome things about capitalism. I'm not saying that you get rid of the entire concept as a whole. Look at everything. Look at shrinkflation. Look at your McDonald's meal.
that's what I mean. This guy's like, he's on a, he's smart. So I don't like, I don't know. Oh my goodness. I don't.
They gotta shitify the product. Like, name a single thing that exists that isn't in shitified. Everything's a subscription. Nothing, you don't own anything. Everything is a rental. You know, how do you get Photoshop? Can you buy Photoshop? No, you can't buy Photoshop. There's no such thing as buying Photoshop. You rent it, okay? And when I say rent it, I mean you sign it.
That's right. Why do we let you do this?
Up to a 1-year term, and you pay the monthly $80 a month, okay? If you own a video game console, you know, you're with Sony, okay? You own a PS5. If you buy a video game, and you don't like it, but you've played more than 2 hours of it, and you finally discovered that in this, 30-hour video game, first 2 hours you're like, this just isn't for me. Like, you tried it, you don't like it, you can't return it. You try to return it, they say, sorry, you played more than 2 hours. Okay, so then you try to charge back.
I love cop.
Electric Gillette Fusion 1. The one for every plan. One tool for trimming, edging, or shaving. One tool for face and body. Fast and gentle on skin. You choose the look. It keeps up. For every you, choose the one. Gillette 1.
Lotto Land. It's more than you think.
We'll lock your fucking account. You'll never be able to play online or any of your games again. It's over. Your account's banned. And again, this is today. It will only get worse. The shitification of everything will get worse every fucking year.
This is the History Channel, like, I'll allow Pawn Stars. I think you can learn something from Pawn Stars. Ancient Aliens, though, is like misinformation. You know, the pyramids were not built by humans. That's just fake. Discovery did this. Like, they changed the slogan from explore your world to entertain your brain. It's almost like a confession. You know? There's also an academic term, the History Channel effect, coined by a professor in Wisconsin in 2010 to describe the situation where people cannot tell the difference between actual documentaries and documentary-shaped entertainment. And that's the point. That's why they make it look that way, because the content looks like it's teaching them something, but it isn't. And of course, all of those channels, when they made those transitions, they did not fail. Some network executive out there was right. They were able to make those things more profitable. They just stopped doing the thing they started out to do because the thing they started out to do cost too much. People think it's because there wasn't an audience for it. That's not true. That wasn't the problem. It's just that it was more expensive to make the hard stuff. And they wanted to stop being constrained by reality. So they made the fake stuff. That is a mess that educational media has been falling into for 40 years. And that
Educational media, but all media. Everything. Anything that is sensationalist and cheap, that's what you push. Again, you gotta follow what the incentives are. For everybody, it's money. Everything is money. The shareholder does not concern themselves with the truth, okay? They concern themselves with the stock value, okay? Is it up? Then everything's kosher, okay? I do see myself wanting to do more challenging content, though. Like, I love the daily stuff, and I don't think that I'll stop the daily stuff. Just in terms of growth, like, that's where the growth is at. Like, you're consistently in the zeitgeist. You know what's going on. There's a lot to talk about. There's always... I mean, there's days here and there where there's nothing to talk about. Like, I think yesterday was probably one of the most dead days in, like, months. But, like, every day there's something. But, yeah, I think I've got my fix of this video. We basically got the idea, the general gist, and shitification of everything. But, yeah, ladies and gents, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. I will see you tomorrow. So, Tectone has an issue with Joe Bartolozzi, which I find unique. I don't think Joe Bartolozzi's ever really said anything that's been particularly perturbing to me. Now, for context, I found out about Joe Bartolozzi, as many of you guys did, through TikTok. And recently, he's kind of made a switch over to YouTube, which has been pretty successful. I mean, 4.5...
Oh, shut up, Tectone. It's called Man Steals Wallet from TSA Bin. This is gonna be good.
On September 29th, 2025, deputies were dispatched to Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International to reports that a man had allegedly taken possession of a passenger's wallet from a TSA security screening bin.
Ooh. Go in circuses, go in circuses. Just go in circuses, go in circuses. Go in circuses, go in circuses. I feel black. I love blacks. Ooh. I love India. I love India. I love India. I love India. I love. I love India. I'm Indian. I am Indian. I love India. 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 I love, like, say, doing education is for the gay lord. Oh, cause he's black. I love cop. Why is he only here? Why would he be in an airport and only have social security card? That's why it makes no sense. He's like, yeah, only got a social security card. You're fucking in the airport, dude. Why you suck my massive asshole? Black boy. Whoa. What is this called? A black boy. Can't ask why it's racist for me to say black boy. Why is it racist for me to call it black boy? If he calls me white boy, I should better call him black boy. I love OnlyFans.
You know why we're here, right? Because you got cameras. When you do something live, it's straight up, they just gonna be done and you get in and out, okay? So I'm not gonna ask you specific questions. When you text a ride, they're gonna talk to you about it, okay? But just place some wire cameras. Okay? From this phone? Yes.
The YouTube Music app, you can blend up to 30 artists into one big custom radio station.
Alright, so let's go. Get him up out of here. There's all your bags here, right? Yes. Hello? I didn't want to leave you, but so the victim was supposed to restore to set point. So we got it. We'll get it for you. Because all I got on him right now is just the car once again. We'll make sure it's you guys. And the victim's still with you, right? I have the wall in the pocket. Yeah. So that's all we got. Hey, Sarge. So the victim's wallet, we haven't went through those bags yet. We have to recover the wallet yet. So the victim's over here wanting his wallet back, obviously. So we haven't went through any of his stuff. Clearly on video you watching this, you know.
Nice.
Like I said, before I ask you the question, I need to ask you video, right, okay? You have to remain silent and to refuse answer the questions. Anything you say can and may be used against you in a court of law. You understand? You have the right to talk to an attorney before talking to me, and to have an attorney here with you during questioning now or in the future. Do you understand? If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to you. Do you understand? So knowing and understanding your rights, are you willing to speak to me now for an attorney present? So, what happened in there today? Okay, you got the water? Oh, okay. Did you have any water on us? So the water that you got was yours or somebody else? Huh? Your luggage and black water. That's a thing to you? Where did you get that water from? So what? Okay. But you two have the black water. That's my question. Got a straight one. Huh? But you picked up the black one. That's a straight one. It's very, very noticeable. Yeah, it's very noticeable that was in your water that you picked up. I don't think that was an accident. If you ask me. And you put it inside your bag. You think that's an accident? Yeah, I'm sorry, 30. How much money do you have in your own water? So the thing is, when the victim said he had some money in his wallet, when we look at your wallet, it was empty. You understand what I'm saying? How much money do you have in your own wallet? You have a place for me? Now? You have any money? You have this money in your shoes? Is that your money or the money you put in the wallet? Your money in your shoe. What are the money we put in the wallet there? Huh? And you have put the food out there for me, please. You have any clothes? You have any shoes? There's nothing in there. You see all the food now?
Alright, look,
Somebody got to do $20, you said? Okay. So this money, the $20, that's the money you take from the other one, from the butcher one. Put it, it's about like, he took about $30 from the guy wallet, yeah. Please step out, step out, step out. Can you step out? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, it's loosen. You see? That's it, dude. Yeah. Look at it. Alright? Oh, boom.
So who's Lucas? Lucas Montgomery? Oh no? Oh.
Let me sit in there.
Okay, alright. We're gonna charge him with possession of a stolen credit card.
That's a credit card? Okay.
Let's see if we can find each other.
So you said you have more than $25, right?
this is racist. The black guy's obviously innocent. Why would black guys steal stuff? Someone explains to me what a black guy would do. So.
I'll give you the ones already. Did that? Alright. This one we got one here. One. You remember that? That's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 14.
I guess that'll do.